All right, we are doing the red book. We're doing 117 to 120. I just want to keep in mind as we go through this that I'm playing on cello, so violins and violas, you'll have a few different fingerings. I also think violins, you're probably not on the lowest string necessarily. I'd have to look at the score, I don't remember what you have because I'm reading from the cello book. But just keep in mind of your finger patterns that we just worked on with the F major scale in the last video that we did 115 and 116 on. So just keep in mind of where that is in your finger pattern so that you can play the next couple of lines. So without further ado, we're going to start with Scotland the Brave. 1, 2, 3, 4. Time. Be careful of your string crossing slurs in particular, but also string crossings in general. Make sure that you are thinking about your bow changing onto each string and how that's going to affect your arm height and your wrist as well, just the whole thing. I talk to cellos, I think about steering like a bike. So we do have to change as if we're changing to go right and left. So think about that. Violins and violas use something similar, that you have to think about going up and away as you go to the G or the C if you're viola, and then dropping and coming back down. So you are kind of pushing away and coming back just at your height so that you stay perpendicular to the string or parallel to the bridge. Look at that cross-curricular stuff. All right, let's do Scotland the Brave again. Maybe a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cellos and violas, keep in mind as you get on the lower strings that you need more weight into the string. I was talking with a violin friend of mine and she was like, what's wrong with this? And she was trying to play cello and I just told her she needs more weight. Like overall, she needs more weight in her left hand. So make sure you're really feeling that fingerboard underneath your fingers. So you push down the string, but you're not just feeling the string, you're feeling the fingerboard underneath. And then also you just need to just let your arm just sink into the string and get as much weight as possible on those lower strings. All right, then there's a little blurb about the Brandenburg Concerto, so pause the video so you can read about that. That's pretty cool, huh? Yeah. So the idea in playing Bach, pretty much any Bach work, is knowing that he's an organist. And so we want to try to keep the sound resonating and ringing throughout the whole piece. So those of you that have heard the Bach cello suite before, I don't know if I can play it this morning, I've not warmed up on this. The idea is that the strings and the sound just continue to ring. If you've ever heard an organ in a church or even on YouTube now, you'll hear that the sound of the organ just continues to make sound, even though the notes are changing and stuff like that. So think about that you have a nice continual sound. The other idea with the Baroque music is that the longer the note, the shorter the value, and the shorter the note, the longer it is. What that means is stylistically. Obviously, we're not changing eighth notes into half notes or anything like that, but you want to make the eighth notes in this piece legato and the quarter notes more staccato. Not super, super short. Like I said, the longer the note, the shorter feel it has. So when we get to the end, the whole note, because it's the end of the phrase, we'll go ahead and hold it. But if it was somewhere in the middle or a half note, it would almost sound like a quarter note. Just the idea of keeping them nice and short. I'm going to angle this to see if you can see my bow a little bit better. There we go. technical difficulties. Oh, I forgot to turn on. I have a light over here. Let me see if I can turn this on. Oh, it's not plugged in. I'll get it later. All right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Hopefully you try to keep your eighth notes nice and smooth and you kept your quarter notes staccato. All right, another good idea to do this one more time is that we're going to keep it in the middle of the bow. So in the Baroque period, the bows didn't curve this way. They actually curved like a rainbow this way. And so they couldn't do all the things that our current bows can do, our modern bows. So they actually sounded a little differently. So to try to emulate that with our modern bow, we're going to play more in the middle of the bow. So if you were like me and played it close to the frog because it's easier, or if you were violin or viola and you played it out towards the tip because it's easier, let's see if we can aim for the middle of the bow for the best quality of trying to emulate that period of time. All right, 1 and 2 and middle bow. One other quick pop quiz question. The beginning is what? What is that? Hopefully you said that it's the F major arpeggio, because it is. It's the F major arpeggio. So knowing that, then that should make that a little bit easier, because you already did the F major arpeggio back in number 116. So you got it. All right, we are going to the top of the next page. So I'm going to move my equipment over so I can read, because I've got a phone here and a tuner. I've got all the things on the stand, so it gets in the way. Okay, so we've got our new note E flat on the D string. So we've already done this for the A string. So this is using our finger pattern 4. So we've got our extension backwards for cellos. Everybody else is reaching back with first finger, low 1. So it makes it a little bit easier. So we already just did all of that. So this should be review, except that it's on a different string. All right, so let's go ahead and play our E flats. And I'm waiting to get that smiley face on my tuner. Hopefully you are too. 1, 2, ready, and... finger pattern for cellos, and then finger pattern for everybody else, these whole steps in between, right? Okay. All right, Deck the Halls, number 120 is going to be a little out of season, but you know what? It's weird anyway. Do you know what day of the week it is? Probably not. For me, it's Wednesday, so I think you will be reading this on, I think I have it scheduled for Tuesday next week, but for me, it's Wednesday, so who really knows what day of the week it is? So might as well play Deck the Halls, right? I mean, if it cheers you up, if it makes you laugh, if it makes your family laugh, because they're like, wait, I know that song. Wait, what are you doing? Anyway. All right, so it asks you to write the names of the notes underneath, so go ahead and pause to write your names of notes. Okay, let's check your work. F, E flat, D, C, B flat, C, D, B flat, C, D, E flat, C, D, C, B flat, A, B. All right, feel free to rewind that and make sure you got all the right notes if you missed anything so that you can check it. Remember that the accidental stays good for the whole measure, and they are writing in accidentals rather than showing you the key signature that they want you to be in, because the key signature that they actually are setting us up for is the next number, because we have E flats and B flats. All right, so let's do Deck the Halls. Christmas on, y'all. I don't know. Happy holidays. 1, 2, and 3, 4. All right, so hopefully you played Deck the Halls really, really well in this new key. See if you can figure it out in another key. I don't know. We've probably played it before, starting on, I want to say this note, D on the A string. Something like that. We may have played it in another key, starting on a G note. Anyway, pick another note, see if you can transpose it to another key, just for fun, because it's Deck the Halls. So you just follow the steps. So if you notice, it's kind of like starts like a scale going down. So whatever note you start on, just figure out your whole steps and half steps, follow that pattern, and probably more reliably will be your ear, because you know how the song goes. All right, that concludes this video for Tuesday of next week. All right, see you guys in the next video.